If someone had told you a year ago when you were doing your first development camp with the Canucks that you were going to win a Calder Cup, what would you have said?
I would have said thank you. No, it's obviously been a long journey over the course of the season, and looking back at where we were to where we are now. Obviously, take a lot of pride in the growth of the group and how they came together. The way they did throughout the course of the years is pretty special.
Why were you guys so good and so comfortable in close games? 8 of your 16 wins were one-goal hockey games.
Again, I think that's developed over the course of the season. Early on in the season, we had a number of games where we weren't as comfortable and we blew leads and didn't quite have that same level of resiliency and just that ability to stay with the game plan. And as the season went on, we grew into that, being comfortable in that position. And obviously, coming down the stretch there, when you're playing tough competition and the other teams in a very similar situation where they're comfortable playing in those situations, we found a way to just stay with our game plan and get it done.
What did the 13-game win streak do for this group where it was on the schedule? Like if you have it in November, I'm sure you're loving it and it's put points in the back pocket, but to do it in March, just ahead of the playoffs, like what did that do for the belief, do you think, in this group of, play the right way, get the results?
I think there's a number of factors that go into that. Obviously, the level of confidence that it gave the group. And if you look at the lineup throughout that time, there was a number of call-ups and injuries and sicknesses, and it didn't matter who was in the lineup. It was just the next man up mentality, and we got the job done. So I think it galvanized their belief in what we were doing here as a culture more than anything, and that, again, that next man up mentality for us got us over the line at times, and then kind of grew us into the team we became in the playoffs.
Take us through that final minute there for you behind the bench.
I blacked out. No, it was, again, one of those situations where we feel comfortable in those situations because of the personnel we have. So I was confident being able to roll those 6 guys out there. We had 4 centers on the ice at all times, so it wasn't a concern of if we were to ice the puck. And then, again, just the level of compete we had on some of those loose puck battles, keeping pucks pinned in the corner, eating some valuable minutes. We had opportunities to clear it, and it would have been a much more comfortable game had we gotten those pucks out. But, again, it's a credit to our guys for staying with that right to the end.
Just watching the celebration from the group when the coaches and Brian Johnson got the cup, the players were almost more loud when you guys got it. Just speak on that from how it goes from the top down and the culture that you've built here and how it goes down to the players.
Well, I'll correct you with that. It's the culture that the guys have built for themselves, and it's amazing to watch how they are the ones dictating the intensity, what is accepted and what is not accepted in the way we play and the way we carry ourselves. It's amazing to see that they took ownership of that. But yeah, I think the celebration speaks to the fact that we have a very selfless group in here that played for one another and were happy when other people were getting their successes. So it really just played into who we are as a group.
You often talked about resilience with this group, and after that devastating loss in Game 5, you said that was our storybook ending. We're not a storybook team. You got your storybook ending in the end. So just talk to us a little bit about resilience of the group that you always seem to talk about.
Yeah, it's we discussed it last night. It almost seemed more fitting for us to do it on the road and just go out and grind another game out. Again, we found ourselves in a situation we were 2 goals down. We had seen that a number of times throughout the playoffs, not a situation that we wanted to be in. But the fact that we were able to claw back, obviously special teams were a huge part of last night, getting us one on the power play and then the kill just shutting things down. It was just a very us game and a very fitting end to our season.
To be involved in that many tight games, tough series, What does that do for the development of some of these guys? What does that experience do for them?
Yeah, I think it means a lot. Obviously, the level of hockey that you play at this time of year, the competitiveness of it, the level of urgency and purpose that guys play with in their game, that in itself is a great teacher. Knowing that every puck race, every puck battle could be the difference in a win and a loss. So I think they learned a lot in those tight game situations, those 5 versus 6 situations that we got ourselves into. Just finding a way to get things done, but understanding the importance of every little detail within our game.
The emergence of some of these guys in this team, it's going to make for some tough decisions for this organization next year. Do you agree?
Yeah, that's a great problem to have, and for me, that's a sign of a healthy organization when your young prospects are challenging for spots at the next level. Yeah, they've done a good job or a great job in their development over the course of the year, and yeah, that's what your hope is going into training camp, is that people are going to push for spots and improve the level of play.
And obviously, so many things go into winning the trophy. You get the 16 wins to get there. You touched on, Artie was incredible throughout. Special teams were remarkable. You guys were 8-0 after losses, which is pretty staggering. That you didn't allow one loss to become another and sort of lose momentum at any point. What does that say about the group, that they just dug in after every single loss?
I think that stat speaks more to our focus and our ability to compartmentalize things. And obviously, the emotions of playoffs can get very high and very low. And it started right from our first series with Tucson, where you get game 1, lose game 2, and all of a sudden you're in a do-or-die game in the first series. That in itself built up, again, that belief that we talked about. Playing in those situations where, again, it's a do-or-die situation. Guys showed up. Obviously, we'll keep talking about Artie. His play in those back-to-back or those games after a loss was outstanding. But for our group, just to understand that whatever happens, win or loss, we turn the page and we move on to the next one. I think that level of focus is what allowed us to have that stat throughout the playoffs.
Good reaction en français, si tu peux. Comment on sent après une victoire comme ça, après une saison super?
Ouais, on est tellement excités. Puis pour le groupe, c'est une bonne fin de la saison quand tout le monde peut amuser, puis tout le monde est en bonne humeur. C'est rare, c'est juste une équipe chaque saison qui est dans bonne humeur à la fin de la saison. So, pour nous autres, c'est tellement spécial, puis je suis tellement fier de les gars.
Back to English, if I could.
Please.
Took you 23 games to get those 16 wins. I know it's a quick turnaround right now, but looking back, outside of lifting that trophy, what was your favorite moment?
Oh, there's too many. There's too many to say. I think my takeaway throughout the course of the playoffs, seeing different guys step up in different moments. And I've said it time and time again, we never rode one line or one guy and we're expecting them to get their points every night. Obviously, Carly and Bainsey and Sammy had the points to back that. No, they had obviously great point totals throughout the playoffs, but I think the scoring by committee for me is a big factor in our success, and just watching different guys in different points of a game make big plays, either scoring a goal or blocking shots or doing those little things that are required to win. For me, that's the biggest takeaway the biggest memory I have is the group contributions.
And years down the road, when you look back on this championship team, how will you remember them?
Very fondly. Very fondly. We have an incredible group of people, first and foremost. A lot of different characters, and I'll leave it at that. But we had a lot of fun. We came to the rink every day and had a lot of fun. We competed in practice. And just created an incredible environment, a fun hockey environment to be a part of.